Was there a moment when you were kind of watching him, you're like, all right, this guy maybe we found something in this guy. Maybe he is better than 27.
I don't know if it's like, oh, a moment that you just said, aha, that's the guy. I just think there was, several things he started doing that were interesting, right? And I think probably the most interesting thing was he started, snapping rebounds down and taking it coast to coast and making plays, not just scoring it, but making plays and the right plays, and that was putting a lot of pressure on defenses. And then, then he went to work on his shooting, right? And he came back from, I don't know, about his second year, maybe third. I can't remember. I get them mixed up. But he came back one summer, much improved. Just all his mechanics were better. His getting rid of it quicker was better, and his making was better. And he was making a high volume of them in practice and in drills and stuff, like a high volume. But wasn't making them in the game, and it was just like we had to kind of say, listen, he's on the road. We got to live through this bumpy, because we know there's nothing other than time and experience before he starts making more. So two big things offensively, especially. And he's got again, I keep saying, he's been blessed with a tremendous motor, and he uses that to the best of his ability.
Do you ever wonder how teams are so smart with scouting nowadays, just invest so many resources, and it happens every year where a guy falls? Like how you miss on a talent like that, that far?
No, I think there's hits and there's misses, right? I think it's such an inexact science. I think people are young, their bodies change, so I think it's, I always say it's like a 50-50 deal on a lot of it. So it's been, and it's that way in college recruiting too. It's probably the same in AAU. Some of the guys you think are gonna, it just works out for some and doesn't work out for others.
How much is Boston different without not only Horford but also Baines too? I mean, those are pretty two smart, tough defenders that they relied on for an identity.
Yeah, I mean they're certainly a little bit less experienced at that position, right? I think they got go through their guards a little bit more. It's not like they were going through Baines, right? But they were going through Horford, right? So they go through their guards a little bit more than last year. And wings, yeah.
Wings, yeah. And just what differences can be Kemba than Kyrie, I guess?
A lot of similarities there, right? I think they're both prolific scorers and hard to handle in the pick and roll and hard to handle in ISOs and hit the three ball and all that stuff. Yeah.
This is one of those matchups where there could be post opportunities against Kyle and Fred. How comfortable, I mean, we know their work as post defenders, how comfortable are you sort of leaving them there versus providing help?
Well, we're pretty comfortable, right, I guess, but you got to see who it is and what's happening a little bit. You're right, and they historically have been good at punching it inside against mismatches with multiple players, right? They'll Brown, they'll use Smart, they'll use Tatum, they'll use a lot of guys when they see a mismatch and try to jam it in there. So yeah, it's something we're gonna have to, if we're gonna switch as much as we normally do, we're gonna have to keep our eye on that.
Fred over there working with Alex, do you have any update on him?
He's fine, yeah. Pat is listed as doubtful right now, but he's not ruled out yet, so questionable.
Everything.
One of each today, you guys. Keep it interesting.
We talked about the data on post-up is pretty clear, right? It's not really all that efficient way to score because it's a one-on-one contest. So does that make you more comfortable in giving up a mismatch in the post? Maybe.
Well, I think the data you gotta be careful on just lumping it all into one thing, right? I think if you can make guys shoot turnarounds outside the paint, then you're in probably pretty good shape on any position, mismatch or not, right? As far as the data goes, you can't get planted right underneath the basket and turned in and laid in and dunked on and stuff. And I think it's so much more like what the eye sees in the games or what it feels like, before you start doing something rather than I'm not sending for any analytical reports in the middle of a game saying, what are the numbers looking like down there? I mean, you can feel whether you're getting stuffed in the basket or not usually, yeah.
What are you looking for from your team early on in the season? Because obviously things are going to change as the season progresses.
Yep.
But in these early stages, what are you looking to see from them?
Well, I'm trying to, we had a pretty high level of defense last year. We're trying to, get that organized and back to where we had it, at some point. But again, it's early, and I think we're way ahead of the game with all the things we can do because because we've experienced them, right? We'll say, several times we've already said this is how we played Klay Thompson. We weren't doing that at this stage last year. So just that, and mostly right now being able to go from really small to really big like because we bring in Serge and we leave Mark out there, and then all of a sudden we got the two point guards and Norman out there, so we're small again. So we're going back and forth, trying to keep the rhythm or feel the rhythm and not have it disrupt ourselves is important right now. We just need a little time with some of that stuff.
Is being an underdog, I mean, obviously we're losing Kawhi, no one expects you guys. I mean, is that a good motivation? Do you kind of enter the same way you did last year, considering the expectations are this high? Does that motivate guys? Is that a kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really trying to treat it as a new season, as I did a year ago, and feel our way through it and make sure we're trying to progress and not get too carried away with. I mean, nobody's handing anything out here during the season. It's I always say these are learning moments and kind of take them in stride a little bit. And I also say this: I don't really like living my life with a chip on my shoulder. I like, not trying to prove everybody wrong. We're just trying to prove ourselves right. We believe in ourselves, and we believe we got a good team. I keep saying there's some really special players on this team. There really is, and we just got to get better and figure it out.
What was your first summer like as a championship coach?
Yeah, it was wild.
Different.
It was wild. It was wild. I'm glad to get back into the safety of the regular season.